Hi, my name is Ace, and I'm sick of the idea that monsters are made. Now, I will say that some monsters are certainly made. And then there is the matter of people who were abused as very young children who then repeat a pattern of abuse while they are still children before they know what they're doing. This, by the way, is a fact I finally recognize after years and years and years. I used to refuse to believe that any abusers were any different than my mother. My mother is not a monster that was made. My mother was just a monster. She was given the best of everything. My grandmother was a wonderful mother. My grandmother is the reason that I am the way that I am. That is not to say that if I had not had my grandmother, that I too would be a monster. If I had not had my grandmother, I would have been completely incoherent. There's a very dangerous idea going around in the consciousness collective that when you are severely abused as a child, you too become an abuser. This is not true. What really happens when people are severely abused, such as the way I was, is people become incoherent. Do you know those homeless people that you see talking to themselves on the street? Those are the people that had unspeakable things done to them while they were children. I used to talk to myself. Pretty normal, actually. We all have an internal dialogue, don't we? But that's not what I'm talking about. What happened with me is that when I was alone, I would talk to myself, but no sound was coming out of my mouth. My lips were moving, but there was no sound. I would also repeat myself when I talked, like this, again with no sound. So my voice had been taken from me. However, I was not yet fully broken. So as I said previously, my grandmother is the reason why I did not become completely incoherent. However, I never would have become like my mother. Most people who have what happened to me happen to them. Most people who are abused to the extent I was abused, or worse, do not become abusers. Instead, they become so dissociated that they're unable to speak and unable to take care of themselves. And they die homeless and alone. It takes a nation's greed to do nothing and make it all look wrong, a wise man once wrote. For this reason, I am determined to start speaking about what happened to me. To set the record straight for all the people who literally cannot speak anymore. Severe childhood abuse might leave you with dissociative identity disorder or reactive attachment disorder, but it does not make you a sociopath or a psychopath or a sadist. What is evil? As far as I'm concerned, it is to enjoy the suffering of others. It is to enjoy inflicting suffering upon others. Using that definition, let me assure you, unspeakable acts of childhood abuse do not create evil. Unspeakable acts of childhood abuse create the homelessness epidemic. Because not only is nothing being done to prevent these horrific acts from being done to children, but also, if you survive and you need help, what reaction do you receive? People just blame the victim and shrug it off, saying, spilt milk and bootstraps. As determined as I am to speak out because of this, I am still in the process of taking my voice back. And it is exactly that, a process. One that is going to be ongoing for some time. One that has been going on for a long time. Since 2013, when I finally got out of the abuse. I'm lucky that I have had my grandmother since then, in a limited capacity, as she is now being abused by my abuser. Limited capacity nonetheless. Now, thanks to her, and thanks to all the kind people I've met along the way, I now have the opportunity to take my voice back. Sweet charity, indeed. As hard as this is, I have to remember This is an opportunity that very few people get. So, I'm working on it. I'm in the process. That's all for now. Just remember, not all monsters are made, and not all people who are abused become monsters. People who are abused become incoherent. They become the homeless people that you see talking to themselves on the street, unable to speak, and unable to take care of themselves. Please remember this and take care. Until next time, peace and love, kids.